Since Dauntless has more eyes on it than ever, now being shown in 2 PAX events and reaching more ears, people look for a way of explaining the game to others, telling them what Dauntless is like in a game that already exists. The easiest comparison to make is the Monster Hunter series. However, if you put everything about Dauntless into a search engine like co-op action RPG, hunting, MMO, PC, your search results might bring you to the infamous Monster Hunter Online. Already, some people in the Dauntless forums and the Reddit have already brought this question up, so let's dive into what it is, the good and the bad, and compare that to what we know about Dauntless already. Monster Hunter Online is a collaboration between the Chinese game company Tencent and Capcom. It's a free-to-play game with heavy incentive on microtransactions, and is the first MMO version of Monster Hunter available on PC. It was questionable as to whether it would be released internationally, but in the end, it was only released in China, leaving a lot of players around the world wanting. The good is that this game looks great. Obviously, you put it on PC, CryEngine 3, add in some high-resolution textures with Monster Hunter art style, and you're gonna have yourself a good-looking game. It also added some things that the previous versions of Monster Hunter never had, with scars and blood effects. From the outside, it had all the pieces that you would expect from an MMO version of Monster Hunter, with matchmaking groups and an auction house, which is good in this sense because the most important materials aren't tradable, but the other basic stuff is easily bought to reduce the grind of having to collect everything. Most of the reviews about Monster Hunter Online were relatively good. People really enjoyed the combat, people really enjoyed the progression up until a certain point, and most of the feedback on the game was positive. But of course, we cannot have a Chinese MMO with microtransactions without having some bad stuff, so let's go ahead and jump into the bad pieces of the game. Like every Monster Hunter game, it's all about hunting, scavenging, crafting, and getting those sweet weapons and armor. The weird part about Monster Hunter Online is that there is a cap on hunts that you can do in a day or a week, by imposing a cost to do certain hunts. These are called tickets or vouchers, and there are a few ways to get them. You receive 10 every day and 20 every week that is redeemable whenever you want. There is a vendor that you can buy the tickets from. They start at about 400 zenny and go up by increments of 300 for every ticket purchased until you reach 6. These tokens that are bought can stack to infinity, where the redeemable ones the game gives you do not, and they are capped at 30. You can also get tickets from side quests as random drops, and 2 as a reward from the main story after a chapter is completed. Later on in the game, some of the higher level hunts start to require 2 tickets to go on them instead of 1. If you enter a hunt, it takes a ticket from everybody in the party, or you can pay 400 zenny to enter the hunt without using a ticket. However, you don't get any of the drops or carbs from the monsters that you slay. So adding all that up, you're looking at 132 runs per week, not including any of the vouchers gained from side quests or from the main story rewards. Now that seems like a lot, sure, but it's actually not. Say each run takes about 25 minutes on average, you're looking at 3,300 minutes, converted hours, that's 55. That's not a lot of time. Add in the fact that later on in the game you have to spend 2 tickets to do some of the hunts, you're looking at 27.5 hours a week. That's not a lot of time, especially if you compare that to the hours per 2 weeks that Steam tells us. A lot of people are considerably over that marker. This situation leaves you in a casual versus hardcore gamer scenario. Either you have to do 10 hunts a day in order for the tickets that you receive from the game to not be wasted, or you can only do 55 hours a week or 27.5 hours a week depending on what level you're at. Besides the fact that the game is still only available in China, those are really the only downsides to the game. Most people really enjoyed it. Okay, now that that's out of the way, let's get back into Dauntless and see what we can compare. Dauntless is also going to feature very similar combat and going for that smooth, crispy Monster Hunter combat feel. Multiple styles of weapons, both melee and ranged, armor and weapons based on monsters that you crafted from, main hub, which is where you get to chill out, which is Ramsgate, and great graphics that they want to survive over time, which you can read about at this article, which will also be in the description. One important distinction that you can see between Monster Hunter Online and Dauntless is that there won't be trading of any kind. No auction house, no trading. I very much approve of this. They could rethink this in the future by kind of taking the Monster Hunter Online route by not allowing you to trade anything that's not like a basic material. But to be honest, if it's only stuff like that, there's really no point for it to be in the game in the first place. We know Dauntless is going to be free to play and have microtransactions, but we have continually heard from the devs that they don't want it to be pay to win. One thing that hasn't been covered is if there will be a pay to break progression wall, like in Monster Hunter Online, so hopefully we might have this answer to this question soon so we can put this one to rest. We also know that there will be customizable armor, like there was in Monster Hunter Online, but there will be more on that in my monthly video that'll come out later. So after reviewing Monster Hunter Ultimate, the lessons that we can come up with is that no paywalls, make microtransactions strictly cosmetic and administration stuff, which is like name changes, stuff they decide to do with guilds, etc. And don't limit the amount of content that someone can consume in a day unless it's a special event or something like that. Alright, and that's going to do it for this video. Next video up is probably going to be the Dauntless weapons one I'm working on, trying to predict what that mysterious 6th weapon is going to be, as well as the ranged weapon, because they haven't told us what that one is going to be either. And after that, it's probably going to be the Dauntless monthly news video for April. If you want to go check out, they've already released a couple of blog posts on their website covering 2 very important things, so if you want to go get a sneak peek of that before I put it out in my video, you're welcome to do so. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any more Dauntless news stuff. We're actually starting to get a little bit closer to that alpha, so hopefully we'll get some more information relatively soon. Thanks, guys.